Hi, Alaina.
Hey,
So today we were considering that we might talk about what portals are and how we use them in our own work and in our own life. Do you have any favorite
we
stories about portals?
traveling through many portals all day long. I think we all are.
Well, I
If
like,
you were to compare life to portals in general, as in, changing your timeline and how things affect your decisions and how you're brought into whole other consciousness and reality by the smallest of things.
I think that's a good,
Children are great teachers as well.
I think that's a good point because until you said that, I never made the connection between a portal being a timeline. In my mind, a portal was a space, an energetic space that we might enter at some point.
No, because for me, like I feel like portals can be in so many different capacities how we view it. For me, it's more about like timelines, as in we're bringing ourselves in and out of different consciousness awareness of who we are, and that we are multidimensional in who we are. So you technically could be living 1,000 plus other lives. That's why I love the south of France, and that's why I should be there right now with my hair like that too. Okay. Although the ocean air would probably be a little bit nicer on my hair.
Yes.
The
I think
humidity here in Canada is,
less appealing. I think we can both agree that probably one of the biggest transformational places where we might encounter a portal is during birth, right? We often talk about the birth portal.
ooh, that is perhaps one of the most sacred of portals, that and the death portal, both doorways that we all go through. Because so it's like we put ourselves to sleep coming here, and when we remember and things like birth, and when we begin. So I've been teaching hypnobirthing for my son just turned 14 last week, and yeah, that's crazy. He's going to high school. Anyways, long story short, it was after his birth. It was because of his birth, and um, that I knew that there had to be a better way. And so I started doing research, and I came to be with hypnobirthing, and I understood birth once again to be sacred. And that portal itself is really inviting that sacredness back into this doorway, right? Because a lot of women come in through this doorway through conditioning, through fear. It's supposed to be this way and that way, and so many stories, and yet you will never birth like anybody else. In fact, you will never birth the same way each time. And so, if we understand that we are opening ourselves up through this doorway too, with our child coming through, and we bring in that portal. So, this essence of I'm more than just this physical, but here I am in the physical. And here I am opening this door. And so, if we can bring it from that perspective, from that higher level of portal perspective, we then raise our own frequency, our own consciousness, right? And then we change the whole event, we change the whole experience, we reclaim what was always ours. It's just more about remembering that that portal can be hijacked, as can a lot of other portals. Yeah, what are your thoughts on birth? Because you and I met through hypnobirthing.
We did.
Yeah.
Well, something that was coming to mind that may or may not be along the same lines is that we can sometimes think about portals as even being an initiation, right? So that
Yes.
initiation into birth, that initiation into even postpartum, right? Like these feel like the same stage, but they're really so completely different. Your experience of being pregnant is so different than being having a
Yeah.
newborn at home, postpartum, even 2 years postpartum, right? People joke about how long postpartum is, right?
I totally agree. And who knows how long those portals last? Like, let's be real. After all of that whole multi-dimensional portal jumping through many initiations, almost all at once, when you think about it, and not necessarily all at once, linear time, but in kind of how your consciousness then flows from being pregnant within this great, this life coming through me, and then here I am giving birth to it, that in and itself. And then you move, as you said, into the postpartum, and then raising your children and yourself through it all, and because your inner child then comes through their portal, right? So there's all these other dimensions of ourselves that are just hopping through our own sanctuary of spiraling and releasing and remembering. Yeah.
So for maybe people who haven't, as you said, the death portal is another big one, right? So perhaps for women who haven't given birth themselves, the death portal might be another place where they would encounter some of those aspects and really, see, you know, their own experience of shepherding someone through that.
Yeah. And I'm curious, how do you feel about that part? Because for me, just calling wise, I know that I'm not ready for that just yet, but I do know there's a calling for me. But I
Yeah.
feel always strongly that like now with my children still young, I'm not there yet.
No, and I'm, my thought
But
is,
I feel it coming though.
my thought
This
is,
essence, this portal.
yeah, my thought is always that I've spent my entire career up to this point trying to keep people healthy and well. So it would really feel like, that duality is really present for me. And it's very much like my whole goal has been preventative care, right?
Yeah.
So that people
Yeah.
are eating well and
But
sleeping.
how do you view the death perspective? Because you've been through a lot yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that's a perfect example of how, you know, more than anything, it's going to be different. And anytime you are a witness and anytime you are able to be present with someone for that experience, it's going to be different, right? Whether or not it's a fast death, a slow death, a good death, a bad death, however we want to use those kind of qualifiers, right? Because people will say, they have their own opinions, but whether or not they thought it was a good experience or not. Um, but I think, especially in the coming years, we're all going to have the experience of, perhaps being present for a lot more of these initiations or changes or transformations
Yeah.
than we ordinarily would have by this point in our lives.
Yeah, that really, I do resonate with that. I do feel that it is going to take a whole shift. Healing is going to look so different in the next, less than 5 years. Like
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
saying 2 to 3 years,
Mhm.
we're already seeing glimpses of it. And in in my own channeling and my own portaling, and when I go in through my own, again, intentional awareness, and presence of connecting to this greater field that we're all connected to, right? The great portal, that the great womb of all of life. But yeah, I think we are moving in that direction. And I think there's going to be a lot more of the assistance through that portal, death doula, a lot of there's a lot of women I speak to now that are resonating with that, the same kind of women that are doing the same kind of things that we are, right? I feel like there's going to be at some point a unification. And that's what needs to happen,
So those,
of, and
well,
that
like,
might take a big event, right?
yeah, exactly. Those are
Mm.
two major portals, right? Like kind of, as you said, the
Yeah,
doorway to
the
coming in,
big ones that we all go through.
right, to exit this world. But what about some like day-to-day, everyday portal?
Yeah,
Like, would
day
you
to day.
even like hopping on a Zoom call? Is that a portal in some?
Dude, totally, for sure. I'm coming on a Zoom call with Ashleigh. I'm like in a different portal now. My kids go, be quiet, close my door.
I guarantee
See,
that.
that was a portal too, right? When I reflected into that one, I was like my mom portal. I'm like, whoa, right? Like I'm working.
So maybe portals are also like part of our identities.
Well, it's our consciousness, it's our shift. And that's what's I think again where medicine is heading, is where we learn to use different kind of frequencies and vibrations to heal perhaps frequencies and vibrations that were not healed. And in that, we all begin to hear a different sound,
Mhm.
the sound that's been going on for the beginning.
So medicine gives us those opportunities too.
Yeah.
What about for people who maybe are not as connected as you and I might be, or as kind of
Or intentionally connected, because there's a lot of people that don't know, right? They're
like,
doing it. We don't know we're doing it, but we feel and we know. So don't ever underestimate your own connection.
yeah, I'm also mean for people who might not recognize that they are traversing these portals on a daily.
Yeah, yeah, or calling it portals, right? Because
Exactly.
you and I decided on that term, and like, because to me it was an association too with the gifts of the feminine, right? We talked about from the beginning with Magdalene, and how, like, we are helping to bring in a little bit more of a different pattern of thinking, let's say, and portals being a level to do that. Or forgive me, like a word, a description as we use it. But it's so many things, and that's what is brilliant about it, is how we perceive it to be. Yeah.
Do you have any, like, how do we, I guess, kind of lean into these portals? How do we kind of explore them for ourselves? Like, I'm just thinking of, there's so many kind of different phases of consciousness, right? Like, so say, for example, we're on a, very simply, we're on a 10-day commitment to meditate every day, right? So every time we're going into that meditation practice, we are entering a portal. We are making a commitment to ourselves, to our inner healer, to however we are hoping to, whether or not it's stress relief, or it's just simply, putting
But
that.
we're changing our frequency, right? So a commitment like that, people, again, it's always intention. And here we are with action, making a shift, because again, how the body gets so addicted to being one way, and how do we shift it to be another way. And when we can shift the body away from thinking it's the boss, that's what meditation does. And if that's the case, then yeah, we are shifting ourselves into a higher frequency, higher portal, a higher perspective, and we are then capable of seeing real definitive change. I mean, look at what Joe Dispenza does. In 1 week, 7 days, I got to go. Incredible. Anyone who would have the opportunity to do that, who would, want to really make a good shift in their life, would take advantage of doing something like that. But I mean, they're now doing many studies upon studies, right? Looking at the benefits of that. So it's not pseudoscience, right? So 10-day meditation specifically, right? That in of itself, again, part of the divine feminine healing arts, right? It's putting people in their subconscious minds, so subduing the nervous system, bringing the true mind and heart online, heart brain coherence. It becomes an elevation of frequency. It becomes a new portal that now I am shifting into that perspective. But the real key, and as his work speaks, it's the level of commitment that we're willing to make, because we've created a habit so much of being something else. And it's so easy and so comfortable that those habits are there because those were our original programming, right? Think about, and the inner child was part of that. We don't get our way.
So do you think
It's and that's right. Go
you think
ahead.
that portal just for the space of being in that, intentionality of being in that meditative practice, or are we still in that portal when we're coming out of that experience? Because that's the part where I'm like, so we're in the portal, we're doing our
We're out of the portal. See, you keep doing it. Like for me, I don't perceive it as a place or time and space. It's more of a frequency shift.
It's because you're a manifesting generator, so you're very nebulous, whereas my generator self,
You need definitive. You need linear.
construct, trying to
What's
pick,
the structure, Alaina?
you're walking
Well,
through
the
this,
shamanic perspective doesn't have structure like that. There's no linear time.
of course.
There's no, right. So if you want to view it more of time, look at, or like a structure, look at it as a spiral.
But I
Okay.
guess the perspective is like
Spiraling is more of the structure. It's not linear.
but your higher self might still be present in that portal long after the meditation is done. So that kind of we can we can understand that sense of time from that, right? It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're consciously in because we're making the intention to go in, and then we're consciously out because we're going on to live our daily life. And we might still remain in that portal because how we then adapt or adjust to life
That's
around,
exactly it.
right? So we're carrying those
So
meditations.
how do we seed then into the next portal? So this is where we weave into the next, right? And so that's all this is. It's a continuation. There's no stop and go, right? Again, there's no definitive lines. It is every time I'm seeing from a different perspective.
Yeah.
and I'm coming back around to the same thing, my day to day, but at the same time, what did I learn the last time around?
Mhm.
So, when you think of portals in our day to day, look at the structure of your day to day,
Mhm.
right? What are your habits? What are your habitual ways of thinking? What are your negative mindsets that like to pop in and challenge you? And I just saw a fly too. My two cats are in here. They should be participating with that. Not that I kill them. Buddha in me says no, but I will release them. Cats sometimes don't. Um, that was the portal, right? You see that? That was like a squirrel. There I went, but I came back.
I feel
So
like
my younger my other stuff, my Buddha came out right there, right? That was
that's why I think of this idea of identities too, right? It's like I put my mom,
yes, I agree. I wanted to, yeah, go deeper in that.
yeah, yeah, or yeah, right?
Yeah, because that's yes. And now I understand what you're saying when you say that, right? Because for me, it's I'm seeing how as we move in and out of our conversation, right? And as you say, I am, nebulous and you like structure, and yet we're still weaving in and out of one's own portals, right? Our spheres. And we're able to, have dialogue about how that actually affects us.
When you talk, and this is something that I'm very curious about because I remember you coming to my office for the first time and you're like, oh, there's a portal right here. So can you talk a little bit about when we might have portals
Energetic
that are
portals.
not positive? Because that's probably what
Mm-hmm.
portal versus a perspective change.
Yes.
Like
So part of the work that I
energy
do.
come in and energy could go out, right? Like a physical.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's how we're resonating, right? So again, because we are so multifaceted and so complex, and not only our mental, our emotional, our biology, our chemistry, all of it, right? So at the end of the day, how we're vibrating, I think also determines our sensitivity to other energies, other portals, other frequencies that are kind of dipping in, perhaps momentarily, or they've been there for a while energetically.
And
Um,
really like an earthbound spirit that walks by and you're set.
yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you feel a presence that wasn't there yesterday.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like you said, if you have the sensitivity, like generally I'm not sensitive enough to pick up on those things, but every once in a while I have an awareness and something's in my space that is not meant to be there.
So let me ask you, when you are aware, when it is in your space, what's your frequency in those moments?
Yeah, well, I can think of a
What's
particular
your
where I was doing a particular healing. So I had flower essences and I was basically dowsing for them. I didn't look up any of the analytical meanings. I was like on a protocol where, I had them literally all lined up. This was post baby, but not long post baby. And yeah, my goal was to really, like my sensitivity by way of using the flower essences in whatever way I was meant to clear, shift the energy because it really just was energy that needed to be cleared, right? It might have
exactly?
existed previously, but I didn't feel it in my space. And then when I did feel it in my space, obviously I just needed to clear that energy. They needed to be brought to the light. They were not necessarily a negative energy, but they had had a very traumatic experience, and that is why they were hanging around. So
Yeah.
able to send them on their way.
So you were in a space where you were opening yourself up to somebody else's energy field, intentions, your own intentions clearly, and yet something energetically you noticed that didn't feel in resonance.
And for me, being
So
clairvoyant,
from another dimension, if you think something's jumping in and being like, "Ooh, what are they doing?" and then
they just needed support and healing. They had died by suicide, so it was a very
oh, so how incredible. So this is where that beautiful portal then shows you that level of compassion within, what I came here to do, kind of thing, even though I wasn't planning on doing that. I wasn't jumping in that portal, but apparently, something interwove itself. And in that knowing, you did exactly what perhaps,
it was it was
a
just
lot of people wouldn't do.
was a heightened state of intuition that generally I,
Yeah,
had
you
not spent
were.
time in because I had a little baby at home and I was spending time with my plants and my, happy vibration. Yeah.
Well, and think of how open you are postpartumly, right? And that's a whole other discussion, right? Like that'll be another episode. We should do that postpartum portal because it's a really big one that maybe, and not in a negative, but just like, it is its own, like even years after your children are grown, there's different aspects because everything's postpartum. Like, let's be real. It's not like, oh, the first 3 months. No, and I don't mean like you're gonna the first 3 months are postpartum, true postpartum, post birth, but then raising your children is postpartum is what I mean by that.
Exactly. I feel you.
I know you do, and I'm sure most moms do. So, and with all due respect, my children are my greatest, the greatest gifts I've ever been given, and they are the toughest gifts that I've ever been given, right? Because nobody ever teaches you postpartumly, portal wise, that you're going to jump into a lot of portals as a parent, and
Yes.
that's a whole other episode too, right? Because
Here comes
uh,
puberty. That is
right,
that in
and
itself.
then and notice how nature brings you together with your children in different initiations, different portals in life, so we can go through it together. And yet the problem in this day and age is that the modern family does not have the grandma and the auntie and the uncle and everybody in the community,
Yes.
unless you live in a beautiful culture, and some cultures still preserve this. But I haven't seen, I mean, unless you come from a big family here in North America, I don't see, or you're coming as a cultural family. That's, yeah, but that's a whole other
Yeah, so
discussion.
those I think that'll be an awesome episode too, just talking.
Yeah, yeah, and I like this chat. Like it's been a lovely, I know we can probably continue, but
Well, do you
was
want to talk
there?
a little bit more about some of those portals maybe that have energetic influences that people might run
Oh
into?
yes, forgive me because we kind of sidelined to that, went to different other portals. I'm coming back.
I was even thinking like of your mountains right on your property and the trees themselves,
Mm.
like how do we keep our spaces energetically, I guess, right? Because that, those are portals showing up for various reasons, right? For energy to come in, energy to go out, just making sure that those are
Mm.
clean and
Yeah, like I'd love to, like even again, maybe another episode where we do one just specifically to like clearing energy and
yeah, of course.
like and having intention with our space. And like as you're saying, because there's certain areas on my property, as you're mentioning, right, that there's different frequencies, and we all have it, right? I mean, it could be your backyard where your willow tree is. To me, she's like, oh, Mother Willow. But it could be next door to, wherever. And the point being is they're everywhere, but specifically where I have a lot of higher ridges, a lot of rock. I got a lot of rock in crop, like quartz crystal, and it's just beautiful. And with that, it's like I feel like it's this amplification, right? Like I feel like we were drawn to this property. We were not even looking in this area the day we found it. It was like 2 hours away, and the real estate agents, well, an hour and a half away, and told us to go. Oh, well, I'm like, okay, maybe, and we did it, not knowing the area, and it was drawing us in. We walked the property. We knew the house needed work. So, and from that, I've learned so much from the energy of this property. Like there's been a lot of perhaps misuse of this poor property. There was apparently, you would never know it, but there was tons of vehicles as if it was a scrapyard, all on our front property in our backwoods. And so we find metal everywhere. And so the land really speaks to me, right? Like in that essence of its energy. And so I'm engaging with that portal. I'm engaging with that beautiful essence of where is this healing that needs to take place. And so there's definitely been some avenues where I have, you know, communed with nature and had initiations, right? Of whether it's just walking through my woods and just, having that moment and just nobody else around. And I'm walking through the essence of nature that doesn't judge me, that doesn't care. And so that portal of compassion is bathing me in, there. So it's how we're how we're looking at this beautiful energy that's around us, and how can we then engage with it, and that mindful moment, right? We love all those terms. It's, but in reality, it's just slowing everything down. It's just taking a breath. And we talked about this last time we started with our breath, right? The breath, and I don't do it perfectly, nor have I ever said I have, but I do engage, and I do utilize it, and I do teach it, because the breath is what bridges all of this together, right? These portals that we're talking about. The deeper the breath, the greater the energy that you are creating within you, frequency wise, energy wise. Are we using it with intention? Well, this next breath, I want the energy of compassion, right? I mean, what they're showing us now, and everything is essentially water. We're going to break it down again, right? The molecules of water, it remembers everything. So create energy with your breath, create intention, create a portal of, I'm walking through the woods today, and I'm going to just cleanse everything that I need. And I'm going to walk through a fucking portal. And I'm going to come out the fucking other side. And excusey for my
Yep.
language, but excuse,
This is a family
but
show.
it's worthy of the righteousness, but in the sense of, all for forgiving, in the sense of we all belong in this energy. We all belong in this frequency. And I believe that we as humans need to start reclaiming that shit. That I just have to shift my intention. I can breathe it in. I can change my perspective. And it could just be that I'm sitting on the side of the road, and there's a beautiful little dog sitting close enough that I can remember that there is sacredness in everything. And if I can, because there's a lot of dark things in this world. Like, I mean, we can have a great conversation, and the application of it all is what's most important to me. It also starts, though, with the inspiration of remembering, who am I? And if I've never begun the opportunity to know who I am, and I've never been treated well to know who I am, then know that you're not alone. And know in this very moment, we are in a portal together, even though I can't necessarily see you. And Ashleigh and I are just perceivingly talking to one another over a stream of energy that we can't see, but it's somewhere. So we're all participating.
That's a
And
good
so
point.
why not, right?
If people are in group or in community together, that's considered a portal too.
This is Sacred Portal. And you are drawn here for a reason, because Ashleigh and I, we love each other, and we're doing this not because we're, wanting to necessarily, like, I am not somebody on the social media, and all the above, but I'm here to have a conversation. And I definitely love engaging with those who want to participate, and know that they are higher beings than they could ever imagine. We are greater than what they've ever told us. And this is what's coming down the line. This, I feel very strongly.
Yeah,
So
it's a good
get
reminder.
ready for some portal jumping, people. And it might not all come the way you perceive it to be. It's meant to be really big and shifting, in my opinion, intuitively, collectively. Um,
It's a
and I
good
still have faith. I still have faith.
it's a good reminder, just even when we're thinking about co-creating, right?
Yeah.
Co-creating also involves stepping into portals and changing our identities. And
Me and you taking the chance of being like, let's just tape ourselves chatting and whatever. We're structured here, people. No, but you, like, I just structure as in, she makes sure I'm here and we're doing it. That's it. She keeps me in line, people.
well, that
But
sounds like
that's another discussion too, ADD, like, that's its own, portal of itself, right?
sound.
Not officially diagnosed. I'm just saying for myself.
Do you want to say any final words about portals and people and
Well, I would love to pick a card for us. Let's jump in a portal.
that's
I
cool.
love these cards. These are cards that I use with my clients, and they're beautiful soul coaching cards. Denise Lynn's soul coaching cards, and they're so kind of down to the resonance that I like to initiate for people. So for initiations, because they're one word and a beautiful affirmation, and so I don't necessarily need much when I'm tuning in, but I want to see what it's going to say. And I picked three earlier, which are more for me and you, but this one I'll pick now. Okay, so and so I like to always clear my cards, even though it's me touching my cards, but energy of energy. So it's with intention, just to kind of clear. So clear intentions, and I'm just trusting. So it's not even that I'm asking, I'm just trusting. And that's something that I've done well with. Well, we are having a chat
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
over,
Isn't that a good, I mean, we didn't,
tea.
yeah, we didn't talk about, portals of pleasure even, right? So,
Or I have a portal who just jumped in my office and asked me where his phone is. Oh, skis.
one of
No,
those,
not at the moment.
one of those leads to
Close
the
my door.
portal of motherhood.
Portal shutting.
That's right.
I love you. It's important. Okay. Sorry, forgive me. I didn't hear what you said.
You're saying the portal of pleasure leads to the portal of motherhood. So,
That's right. And it's infinite, that pleasure too. Come on.
what a
So the
portal.
affirmation is my life is deliciously joyous. Oh, right? That coffee in the morning, that's a portal,
Yeah.
right?
Pull another.
What's that?
Like we need another.
That's right. Oh, yes, we should. One more. One more. Because you were sending a message through. I know, I got it. I got it in the field. Woohoo! Hey, girl. Oh,
Ooh.
there's two that came out. So apparently we're doing three. So the second one, this is, of course, leadership. So
Ooh.
perhaps there's a reflection of leadership here tonight that,
Spiral just in the picture there.
yes,
Right? Like
and the
the,
light.
yeah, that's, and
And the
what is,
light. And so the affirmation is I am a beacon of radiance, support, and love. So perhaps just by you and I lighting the torch this evening, a beacon that someone, whomever,
this?
who's meant to be here present with us in this portal, because it'll be the same as if they are in this very moment, because they are. There's no time. It's the spiral. So the beauty of it all is that we are that radiance. We can get support from this, even just me and you chatting, right? And that life should be delicious. And the final one, we're beating our own drum, my friends, the courage, right? Because we're not here to follow anybody else's drumming, which are absolutely beautiful. And the heartbeat is the sacred drum. And that's maybe where we should take ourselves as we end tonight, take ourselves to that sacred drum. I'm going to invite you to join me if you feel called, and placing your hand on your heart just for a moment. And maybe we can end with some heart brain coherence and reminding ourselves, like that beautiful card says, how courage is within the drumbeat itself. I want you to just take a deep breath and breathe as if you are breathing right into your heart space. Drop those shoulders on that exhale. Remember the breath. It is providing that beautiful bridge. And so we take another deep breath in, slower than the last, feeling your hand upon your heart. Perhaps you feel the heartbeat itself, the drum beat, subtle. Slow that breath down even more, release it, letting all that tension go. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the belly. Place where you judge yourself the most, perhaps. The seat of the self, let that not go in your belly. One more big deep breath and allow those shoulders to drop even more. And again, return your consciousness, your portal, towards your heart center. And feel that portal, the very first portal that began in this physical form. Perhaps that beautiful drum beat, knowing as it begins to drum for you that very moment that your soul decided bravely to re-enter into this world, perhaps knowing you would forget who you really were, but to come and to find yourself over and over again through all the contrast, the light and the dark. For how else can the light remember who it is greater than what it is, but to fall asleep and to journey to experience a world where you are pulled in all directions. You enter into all different kinds of portals, portals of grace, of joy, of fear, of compassion, and some of the greatest gifts of humanness. Contrast is knowing the darkest and the deepest pain to then know the greatest of love. And so when you breathe into your heart space now, breathe into the great love that loves you, that pours through you every day, every moment, every second that you call time, that does not exist. Only in a construct. What exists is your awareness through it all. The recording. You and your witness is always present. Be your own witness now. Breathe deeper. Expand that beautiful light within you, that drumbeat. And I want you to give a gift to your heart today, a reverence, something to show it that the contrast is worthy. And imagine now that you are placing that gift upon the altar of your heart. And whatever it is, that gift, it reminds you that you are worthy. You are worthy of this beautiful love. And I want you to feel now love that you have never felt before. A love that you have for somebody, something. I want you to bring that frequency now into your awareness and know that as you feel and embody this love, know that this is what is real. Because love is the only thing you can take with you. It is the only thing that jumps through the portals beyond time and space. So feel it and feel it deeply. Let it reverberate inside of you in a frequency, in a way that the drum beats so loud. And in that beating, you remember that you are the one drumming, that you and the Creator decided together that it's time to beat your heart. And here you are, jumping back in with me now, taking nice deep breaths, coming back into your physical body, having never left anywhere physically. Take deep breaths now. And release and anchor all of what you experience and leave the rest behind that does not resonate. And trust that you can jump through any portal. It's your choice, whatever channel you choose. And so when you are ready, guided deeply, always protected, always guided, always loved. If only you knew who walked beside you, we would never feel alone or afraid. And may that portal always be with you. May the force be with you. That's not mine, that's triggered. And I love you all. Feeling that love, feeling it all, feeling the presence of our own heartbeats together collectively across time and space. Here we are again, jumping back into this awareness.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. Just know I journey with you.
I can feel you.
Mm.
That is so right. I feel your presence despite the hours and kilometers that separate us.
There is no time or space, my friend.
Indeed. Uh,
I love you dearly. What a lovely evening of chatting.
yes, I loved it so much, and hopefully others.
Mm.
Our heart to heart chats, as I like to think of them. And actually, I'm wearing my love earrings. It says LOO the other way. LOVE. Got these at a little store.
No coinkydink in that one.
That's right.
Mm-mm.
We'll have that.
Resonance.
That's right. That's right. I'm tuning into it. Uh,
Yes. And until next time, we'll tune in. Same bat channel, same bat time for the youngins in the crowd.
that's right. All right. I
All
will
right.
see you
Have a
soon.
wonderful night, my friend. Sadhna.